this is just kind of a forward slash disclaimer deal. I don't know. I recorded my first real rant podcast thing today. I'll put that up as with the first real episode. Uh, just I don't know. Take it all with a grain of salt. My opinions change all the time. On my walk today, I kind of felt like I didn't stress empathy enough, but I don't know. That'll be a topic for another episode, I suppose. But yeah, just kind of a take it with a grain of salt thing. Mm, I'm always changing the way I think, kind of, in a way. I guess that's the deal, is keep an open mind. Change isn't bad. Don't take nothing to heart too hard. Thanks for listening. Alright, so this is going to be my first real installation of the Miller Soapbox, I suppose. I got my topics written out here with some bullet point things. I don't know how much I'm going to stick to each one. It's not like I'm planning out to give each one a certain amount of minutes or any shit like that. I kind of was hoping to have more positive shit to talk about on this first one, and maybe I'll throw something in at the end. I don't know, but I guess I'm just kind of pissed off lately. So this is mostly for me. But anyway, what are we gonna start with? Well, fuck. I guess just the whole general, like like the climate that, not the climate, like not the physical climate, but the emotional climate that is going on right now. I still don't think that's the right word, but just the division between people. Yeah, that's a topic. I can go off of that. Uh, we're just so divided right now as a nation. It seems like, but I guess my main. Oh, what am I gonna start with here? We're divided, but we're not. Is kind of how I'm looking at it in a way. Cause like alright, so on my dog walk, I pass by these houses, and they're about the ones I'm talking about in particular. They're about both the same size. They're right fuck their neighbors. Uh, and they're doing all right. They're not small shitty houses or anything like that. But one has the Biden flag, and then one has the Trump flag in it, and then I don't know how that social interaction goes on, or if it's just a joke, or what the whole deal is. But it just kind of it's like a an image, kind of. It's like obviously you two have done successful enough with whatever way of thinking that you're using to progress in life or whatever the fuck, but somehow you're politically divided, and especially in a non-swing state, so where your vote really does. I mean, your vote matters, maybe not. I guess not really. Like, not unless you're in a swing state. It doesn't really matter. If your state has historically always voted a certain way, chances of changing it pretty fucking slim to none. So, oh, I guess you can say your vote matters for like local things, kind of. But in the giant reality, it doesn't really matter all that much because of the scale of our nation and everything. And the electoral college, like, it just it really takes away your individual power. Like it. Oh, like I was listening to the Ari Shafir earlier, and the way he said it, he's gonna sell his vote or whatever to the highest bidder, and that's how much it matters to him or whatever. And that's like, yeah. So even if you have 200% your vote, it's still just two votes, and in the giant scheme of things, and that's doubling your voice. Like, in the giant scheme of things, that still doesn't matter all that much. It like I don't know what the number is to where your vote would matter, but I'm guessing it's probably over 100 votes or something like that. But yeah, your vote isn't worth 100 votes. It's like a percentage of a percentage, and it's just so fucking nil that it doesn't really matter. But yeah, so I guess it's just kind of odd that people in similar financial predicaments, or not even a predicament, just a situation, could have different political views a little bit, I guess, is kind of what I'm getting at. And I don't know if these people talk to each other or if it's just a big joke or what have you. But I guess that always strikes me as odd whenever I pass by those places. But yeah, I get, and it seems to boil down to like what fucking news station you listen to, because like so last night was the vice presidential debate, and then if you watched what was it? I think it was a CBS or something. Oh, one was like right after the debate, they're like one was slamming Pence, and then the other one was slamming Kamala. Fox was, Pence really got him, and then I think it was ABC or CBS or something like that was like Pence was avoiding all the questions, and in my opinion, I like if you just went into that one without like any preconceived knowledge of any of these people, and you didn't have like a political leaning or anything, you would probably vote with Pence in them because of how his demeanor and the way that he answered questions that could like be backed by fact a little bit. Like you could go fact check him, and then like, oh, okay, I guess he's right. You don't know that he wants to shock the gays into being straight. Maybe you do, but I mean, you have to know that to make a full opinion or whatever the fuck. Yeah, like if you just go off of the debate last night, uh, yeah, I would probably lean towards Pence winning that one. Maybe the Fly won that one, but yeah, like it seemed like her response was just to kind of smirk and then avoid questions, and it seemed kind of like the moderator was on her team too, and it's like it seemed like she lost even with the moderator trying to stack things in her favor, and I think that the blue team would have gotten a little bit further if I don't know she kind of like pulled what Trump did in the first one, just kind of like put on a show a little bit, like with the smirk the whole fucking time and the avoiding of questions and doing the whole wrap around of this, we're going to talk about philosophy. Of me and Joe are going to do this and this and this. And it's like, well, he asked you a question. I guess that was kind of funny how she just totally avoided the stacking the courts thing. And then today I saw like a article that was like, no, Pence and Trump are back in the courts. And it's like, I don't know. It's just kind of silly. And so my not to sound like a Trumper or anything, but yeah. And then the whole deal that they're not letting Joe Jorgensen on the stage is fucking ridiculous. Like I was, like my grandma called me today, and did you see Kamala last night destroy Pence, blah blah blah, and then I basically said what I just mentioned, and then I mentioned Joe Jorgensen, and she's like, well, who's that? I'm like, the third person on the ballot. And it's just really fucking ridiculous that the media is just totally ignoring her and just not giving her a voice whatsoever. I kind of thought SNL was going to when I didn't pick up that what's her name? They had Kerry and Baldwin playing Trump and Biden, and then what's her name? No, I forgot what her name is, but she walked out, and I thought she was playing the part of Joe Jorgensen, but she wasn't. So like I don't know if SNL's position is vote Biden because he's probably gonna die, and then we'll get Kamala in there. But it's like they had a chance to introduce the third party candidate to everybody, and they didn't. And it just seems really weird that they wouldn't that nobody is giving her a chance to talk anywhere. And then like my grandma isn't like a down head in the sand kind of person, but yeah, and she's pretty hip on her news and all that. Like I guess not enough, but it just seems really weird that they would just totally not even discredit because they don't even give her a chance to talk about anything. It's just I think that's pretty fucking odd that it seems like media in unison, like on the red or the blue team, They're just like, no, fuck this person. They're on the green team. We don't do that or whatever. It, I don't know. I'm not an expert. I just have a lot of time to think, I guess. And I think my moral compass is kind of in the right direction a little bit. Like I kind of fall in the middle of the road on most things. I think you need to take the situation as it is and not as you want it to be. And it seems like most people don't do that. They're just like, well, if I do this and this and this, then maybe this will happen. And then they just hope that that's going to happen. They don't think about the first this. They don't think about the second this. They don't think about what's happening during that. They think about what the possible end result might be. And it normally isn't. But who knows? Not I, said the fly. But yeah, I guess that kind of covers debates and division. Oh, and not a lot. I wrote down not allowing the people to choose the moderator. I thought it was kind of weird that we couldn't get someone in there who we couldn't have a Joe Rogan or almost any comedian or just a normal fucking person to moderate these debates. It like someone who's not invested in it at all. Like, why do they have to be a news host or be on Fox or be on CBS or whatever the fuck? Like, and I think things would have gotten further with that. Like, I watched basically the whole Ari Shaffir State of the Union thing, so that's influenced some of this. I mean, I guess I basically agree with most of what those dudes said. But yeah, what was I thinking about here? But yeah, it would have been better if like we could have had a people's moderator or something like that. Like we actually could have gotten answers out of them instead of the loop around answers that both Pence and Kamal gave the loop around answers. Like, oh no, we envision this and blah 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 blah, and we're gonna try and do this. And it's like, well, can you just answer the fucking question? Like, how about we go back and then you'll cut them off at 2 minutes or whatever the fuck, Vice President. No, we need to get the fucking question answered. Like, if they didn't answer the question, we go back and we ask the fucking question again. We don't just move on. Like, it's like, no, we didn't get an answer on that one there, so how about we refresh or do it again? And most people are okay with how this works out. They're like, yep, my team is out there. And it's not your team. We're all on the same fucking rock. Like, there's no teams. There's no jersey you don every morning. It just bewilders me that so many people are in the fucking my team mindset, I guess. It's not a fucking sports game. It's the future of our lives. Like, not a winning or a losing thing. Like, we're all fucking stuck here. We all need to figure our shit out. Like, if we're 50-50 divided, that always means that 50% is going to be upset depending on how the fucking shit goes. And 50% is a lot. It shouldn't be that. So, I guess it really confuses me that so many people are chill with the this or that. They don't look at situations individually. They're like, let me go back to my list of whatever the fuck my team says, and I'll get back to you on how I think that they and I, because I'm on this team, should handle the situation. Like, why can't you handle the situation like you would handle the fucking situation? Like, you think about it and you come up with a solution. You can't be like, oh no, that's not actually a problem because my team says this, or our team's handling it this way, so I think of that. And it's like, no. Like, if a building's on fire, you don't sit there and have a fucking debate about it. They're not like, well, my team thinks that they're probably already pouring water on the thing. They're trying to do something. They're not having a fucking debate. It's just, we gotta get the fire out. like fixing a car. I mean, there's some crappy mechanics out there, but like in the end, you got to fix the problem. You can't like, well, I kind of did this, and then the customer would be like, well, did you fix the car? Well, we thought that maybe if we did this and this and this, and it's like, well, just fix the fucking car. The car only works one way. Like, there's no, it's not open for interpretation if the car works or not. Does the car work? Okay. Does it not work? Okay, we fix it. It's not. Well, we did our best, and despite what, no, you just fix the fucking car. It's just so fucking crazy how this whole team attitude really throws wrenches in things. But yeah, I guess that's just kind of the way it is. And I don't think that the modern media helps it at all. Like, why isn't there just one news? Like, there's just the news, but no, there has to be an interpretation of the news. Why is there an interpretation of the news? You just fucking read the news. Why does there need to be a spin on any of it? There shouldn't be news stations affiliated with anybody. It's just fucking insane how that all turns out. But that's how it is, and people are okay with it. They watch their news, people, and then it just ends up being an echo. Like people will make a echo chamber for themselves, I suppose. They'll surround themselves with alike people, and they all support that idea. And obviously, this idea can't be wrong because I hang out with Frank, and Frank's on my team. It doesn't really matter how fucking confident you are. Go back to the car fixing thing. Like me and Frank fucking threw your cam in and it's off 30 degrees or some shit like that. And well, we really thought that we had that going. Well, no, it's like you don't get to fucking think that it's wrong. It's off. You have to undo it and you got to fix it. It's not an opinion thing. The news isn't an opinion thing. It's the news. You just read what happens, and if nothing happened, then there's nothing to fucking talk about. But again, goes back to that's just the way it is because people are okay with it. People enjoy comfort. They get into they get their job and they're like, I'm never getting fired from this job, and I'm just gonna do this until I keel over, and I use this job to pay for my house and my car and blah 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 blah, and that's it. And like I don't exactly know where I was going with that one, but no, they like comfort, so they wouldn't want most people. Okay, so most people don't want to put themselves in a situation that's not comfortable for them at that time, so it's hard for people to maybe think openly about stuff. And I have a little chunk on this on critical thinking here. the lack of it is the first bit there. It's a lack of critical thinking, and that doesn't mean that these people are dumb either. Like you can be a super successful person and, in my opinion, lack critical thinking because you aren't open-minded enough, or you only did things a certain way, so therefore that's the only way. And I just don't consider that as critical thinking. You can't measure critical thinking on a financial marker. Like, you can't be like, well, Bob makes $35,000 a year, so he's in this level of IQ. I think you can be pretty fucking stupid and make a lot of money. You can be a super hard worker and be pretty fucking stupid. You can be a pretty lazy person and be kind of smart. It goes both, like, it kind of can go both ways. But there's just such a fucking stigma about it. No, he's made it to this, so therefore he must be this smart. I don't really think that's how that works. I think a lot of luck plays into it, background, opportunities, the time frame that you were born in, where you were born, even the town, like the state you were born in, what your parents did. It's just so many fucking variables, and people don't like dealing with variables. They just want, like, this and this happens, so this has to happen, or this happened and then this has to happen, or or my sheet says this, so therefore that must be that. Like they don't want to interpret a situation individually. They'd rather be like, well, this situation's kind of like this situation, so this is what we did last time on that one. And that's not critical thinking, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. So, I guess I kind of covered my 3 points on that one. We'll call that'll probably be a common theme throughout this whole deal, anyway. But yeah, we kind of covered voting, debates, division. Another thing that doesn't help is social media, because it just advertises what you stand for all the time, and frames detected 25%. How is this skipping frames when I'm not actually streaming this? My computer suck ass that much? Damn. All right. Whatever's, I guess. Keep persisting here. Yeah, social media, like, you share your Trump memes all the time. You share your Biden memes all the time, or whatever. I think that takes away a lot of the thought of it. You're just like, Trump, share. Biden, share. I get it, but I don't know. You'll think that meme is funny, but you'll think a meme about your team is not funny, and that's kind of what pisses me off too. It's like you guys are 50% right on your memes there. If you just fucking thought that your side is also memeable, it's not like you picked the best team in the world, so therefore they can never do any wrong. That's just another lack of critical thinking. But where are we at? And the way that people break things down, they think that they can break it down to just super fucking simplistic. Everything can just be broken down into just several parts, and it's like, whoa, it's easy, and then you just, this is this, so therefore that. And it goes back to the lack of critical thinking, but people fully stand by these straw man arguments and argue about it in not very complicated ways. And then if some big words come out or anything like that, most of the time big words don't come out. Most of the time it just devolves to name calling, and you must not have a job, or you must have done this, or you did that, and so they just figure out a way to discredit you, I don't know, and that always goes back to the lack of critical thinking. It's maybe I'm using the. I'll have to look up what the definition of critical thinking is and see if I'm using that right. And maybe there's a term that better fits what I'm trying to put there. But and the way that people communicate through there. So you're not having a face-to-face discussion with this. That's why it's so easy to discredit the person. You're not sitting next to him at a table having a talk. You can just shut it off and be like, nope, I still believe what I believe. Fuck this guy. Boop. And then block him, or just not talk, or just be like, fuck you, leave. That's not how you would act in real life. And then if you did, you kind of did, you might be a shitbag, possibly. But it's just a poor way of communication. It's not face to face. It's real simple and heavy-hearted and heavy-handed. Maybe is the word I'm going for there. And then you can create a nice echo chamber on there. Oh, this person shared a Biden meme, blocked. This person shared this, blocked. Oh, this person hung out with this person, blocked. And then you create your safe space on there. And if all you're hearing is people echoing what you think, you're never going to change your mind. And then the lack of wanting to change your mind. They think that changing your mind is a form of weakness or something. Both teams do this. They're like, well, no, I got to stick to my point because I've already supported it this far. I'll look stupid if I change my mind now. No. To anyone who is capable of a thought, that's not they'd be like, oh, good on you. You learned something and you reacted and you changed what you thought. Like, very few of those conversations happen in a comment section on Facebook. I've had a couple, and it's like, well, shit. And it, like I have random people added on my friends thing that like I started like I'm pretty bad at going on the Facebook on both teams' pages and starting shit on both things. But yeah, if I end up actually coming across someone who like responds, in like a thoughtful manner, it's like, well, shit, we're not so different, and send you a friend request or whatever the shit. But like, I'm not out there blocking people from. I don't know, maybe I should. I don't know. I'm not blocking people from high school because of the way they fucking think. I'm not discrediting people just because of a meme they shared or what they do as a job or what they do and people are really fast to discredit people, and I think that's not like, and it's really simple too. It'd be like fucking if a boomer sees my hair and I'm like, oh, fucking hippie, fucking discredited. No, not gonna listen. Obviously he doesn't have a point, or else he'd get a haircut. There's shit like that. He works in this industry, so he must not know what's going on, and it's like things like that. Just yeah, you can't discredit everyone like that. Like you can't like see it from a mile away always. You're probably not that good. You're like the I don't know who the fuck can. Like you can kind of judge a little bit. Like I'm not saying you can't judge at all, because you kind of have to even get by. Anyway, if someone looks shady, you probably don't want to go near that person. Do you know that person's shady 110%? No. But like, hey, it's like sometimes you can kind of tell a little bit, but you never really know. You can't fully 110% discredit someone just because of what you think. Kind of is what I was getting with there. And then there's no like real repercussions to things you say. Like you wouldn't go in front of some like mom and her kids and just fucking start swearing and be like, you piece, and try and lay down your whatever your team thinks to a person in real life. Like, what kind of weird fucking conversation would that be? Like, I see this person walking across the road and they have a fucking Trump sign on their back. I'm gonna go have a fucking chat with this person. And it's like, and maybe people do that, but like, shit hell. Like, I don't know. And I just don't think everyone's capable of the critical thinking. Like, I don't think they know either. Like, they can get to a high financial standing. They can provide for their family. They deserve respect. Like, it's not like these people shouldn't be respected because they're not capable of thinking things in an open manner. But, and yeah, so then therefore, in their head, I fully believe that they don't know. They're like, well, no, I did this and this. Like, this is the answer. Like, and you can try and be like, well, no, if you thought about it this way or added like a couple variables, right over their head most likely, and then, but that because that doesn't add up. It doesn't. It can't. It's just the software isn't there. It's just there's no fucking update. There's no program for that. You might as well be talking Chinese. It's whatever language you don't understand. Yeah. Then let's see. How can I swing this back to politics? I have career politicians, cops, riots, freedom, and Taiwan and China as as our final topic. I'll save that for the end because the news seems to be fucking avoiding that because of a certain election coming up. But yeah, so yeah, I'll just go straight into it. Career politicians. Why is that a thing? We not idolize these people, but we vote for these people and we keep them in office, and I just don't think that's a fucking career. Like fuck this fly, man. He must be the Pence fly. But yeah, I don't understand how we've allowed that to be a career, basically. And like you, and people will support certain politicians that are on their team, but it's like they're all going to work at the same fucking place. Like they're not. Those people are the ones who have to go see each other. They're not going to be like, "Fuck you, Harry," when they walk into the Senate building. Like they probably go get fucking drinks and shit and hang out sometimes. Like it's a job. They're people too. They're like trying to imagine the government as the government is fucking crazy because it's just made up of a bunch of people. It's just people. They're not above a moral standard because they work for the government. They're people. They're gonna do people shit. That's just what people do. It's not like, oh, I work for the government now. Complete change. That's not how it's gonna work. But yeah, but we've allowed that to be a thing. I haven't been here all that long, so I'm not gonna take too much responsibility of it, and I'm openly speaking out about it. Fuck my hair, man. Hair and the fly, and my computer keeps going black screen because I'm just recording this and not streaming it. But yeah, and then they don't think about the mutual capital gain between the two parties. Like they're probably hanging out outside of work or whatever the fuck. Like if there's an opportunity where everyone in that team can make money or shit like that, it's gonna happen. They're people. Like that. I guess that's kind of why I was getting at. Like they're not gonna go hardcore after each other because they all have to go to the same work. They all work in the same kind of deal. They're all probably pretty similar people, but it shouldn't be allowed to be a job. Basically, like you shouldn't be able to get rich off of politics. That's fucking insane to me that was allowed to be a thing. And then then that goes down to kind of they just put on a show, I think, for their team. So like if they're doing like a TV appearance, they're not gonna say what they actually believe. They've thought it through, and then they're gonna talk about the shit that their team wants them to talk about. Like and that's not giving you an honest impression of what they're about. But they said some shit that your team likes, so my team better get on my team. And then, uh, if you're a career politician, you're not having real life experience, and you're not working the job. You're not like being in the same shoes of the people that you're making decisions for. Like, so therefore, how are you gonna make a decent decision? You're just kind of guessing, which makes a whole lot of sense if you look at where we're at now. It's just a whole bunch of fucking guessing and good hopes or something like that. But yeah, how do you gain real life experience if you're a Duke or Duchess of the United States, basically? Like that's just fucking nuts. How that whole career politician thing is even a thing at all. Like you basically shouldn't want to be a politician. I think we should find people who like should do it, and then you should have to convince like the people who should do it, like they don't want to. They're like, fuck that, I got my own thing going on. But we should find the good people and be like, hey, can you please, like we need some direction here. We think it would be great for this. Like the kind of person who runs for a political office and like wants to be a politician, like fresh out of high school or shit like that. I don't think that's a I just I don't think that's a good person, really. Like, why wouldn't you want to be a normal person for a while? Like, and I get it. You don't want to. Who wants to be a normal fucking person? But yeah, it just bewilders me that it's been allowed to be a thing by multiple generations before us and continues to be that. Uh, I don't know how to do a good segue into the cops and the riots, but I guess we can go down. I guess we can include them all: freedom, cops, and riots. So fuck this fly. I think that they're all kind of connected together. So the main riot started over the George Floyd thing, right? And like you can kind of break that down to being started by the government monopoly on violence, like a little bit. Like if I guess I don't know a whole lot about what actually happened before that all went down, but it kind of doesn't matter really because the cop can't be the judge and the jury too. Like they got to enforce the rules, but like how far are you willing to go to enforce the rules, dude? Like the what's his name? I forgot it. I'm sorry. Eric Garner. I remember it now. Selling the loose cigarettes. Why why was they allowed to enforce the rule to the point of death? Like he was selling some loose cigarettes. Like that should have been a fine. Well, he resisted. Well, he was selling loose cigarettes. Like shit, hell. Like wouldn't you resist too if you were getting your shit kicked by some dude who like just wants to kick your shit because he's enforcing a rule that he thinks he needs to all the fucking way? Like if someone steals your Xbox and you don't fucking quite catch him, like, and he's running out the door, do you fucking put some bullets in his back because he stole your Xbox? Like, probably not. Is there 2 fucking flies in here now? What the shit? But yeah, people. That's people's like thing. It's like, nope, broke the law. Use whatever force necessary to apprehend this criminal. And I think that's the main fucking issue, and it goes back to the government having a monopoly on violence. Like last summer, I was riding my bike home at about it was pretty late. I didn't have a light on my bike, and so I'm pedaling, and then I noticed these lights behind me. This car is fucking creeping, just going slower than I am on the bike. And he eventually speeds up, cuts me off in the driveway. It's a cop. He throws the reds and blues on, gets out and has his gun on me already. Well, what the fuck, right? Because I was wearing a flannel, so I could have been concealing a weapon apparently. So, but like, and his whole reason for the stop was I didn't have a light on my bike, and then he thought I was suspicious because I had a flannel on. It was like 55 degrees that night, like 55, 60. A t-shirt wouldn't have fucking cut it. But yeah, and then he says whoops. He says whoops, sorry, and puts his piece away. If any fucking non-cop did that, they would be in jail. They would lose their rights to a firearm. It would not be a fucking whoopsie. I'm not super mad about it. I guess I'm mad, I've been around firearms a lot, like a decent amount. I'm not. No, I didn't think he was gonna get me really. I was just kind of like, what the fuck, bro? But yeah, I guess what I'm mainly pissed about is if anyone who isn't a cop did that, they would have tremendous repercussions in their life, and the cop was able to say, "Whoops, sorry." And then he kept me there for 25 minutes running his computer to see if he could figure out a way to bring me to jail. And I was like, well, what the shit? But all right. Here we go for the fucking 5th round or some shit like that. I cut off the video before because my sister got home and kind of ruined my thought train. Then I got it back, and then I talked for 15 minutes to a non-recording computer. So that's pretty fucking rad. It's really hard to get back to where I was. I was talking about how I think the cops can excuse too many of their actions by whoops and sorry. And that just shouldn't be the way it is, because no one else can really do that. Like in my situation with the bike thing, I can't just think someone's suspicious and then pull my weapon on them. Like if someone's walking by and he looks real fucking shady, I can't be like, hey, what's going on here? I can't walk out my house with my AR low ready to get him or something. Like that's. You would go to fucking jail for that. But no, the cops just said, sorry, man, and put his gun away after aiming at me. I think that's inexcusable because any other person would be in jail for that. And I think that's a mentality that sticks with them. And I think the qualified immunity has a lot to do with it. I think basically cops getting let off the hook for almost everything. Like you find multiple videos of cops coming back to the station on shift drunk, driving their car. They like get sent home or they get fired. They don't get a DUI. They don't like get anything really bad, like legal repercussion wise, happen to them. Like, and sure, there's certain cases where they do, but like that doesn't fucking ignore, that doesn't cancel out the other cases. That's another point of discrediting. Like, that's not like, well, some do, and no, discredited all the other ones who didn't. And like, no, it still fucking happens. Like, that's a shit way of thinking about it. But yeah, they're just kind of allowed to get away with too much, in my opinion. And there needs to be either more people doing different social work kind of jobs, public service thing, or we need like a fucking Navy SEAL type police officer that can actually do all the jobs that we're asking them to do. It's a hard job. Like, I'm not saying it's an easy job, but you need a good person to do this job. And like, I, I can kind of tell, like, you see the kind of people that you went to high school with who become police officers, and you're like, oh, well, I guess that kind of makes sense. Like, how the shit ends up the way it does because those, that kind of person wants to be a cop. Uh, they're not gonna be qualified to handle every situation. They're not getting paid to handle every situation. It's like there's one carpenter in town, and you need to hire him for every single renovation you ever do. Any home repair, your car's broken, every single thing that's broken, there's one guy in town that you need to call. You don't have a choice. You have to call him, and he shows up with a giant fucking sledgehammer every time. And like, that's his only tool. He just went to Harbor Freight and got a sledgehammer. He has a fucking holster for his sledgehammer, and that's what he's got. That's his tool. He's here to fix your car, your plumbing, fucking give you some new cabinets. He's here to do all of it, and you have to pay him for the job. You don't have a choice. Or he has a fucking cement cell that he's gonna haul you off to. And wouldn't that be fucking bunk? Like, that's not the way things are in normal life. So why is it that when like bad situations happen, like, no, it's just fucking, that's just the way it is. You gotta go off to the cell. There's too many fucking shit laws. Like, and people justify, well, don't break the law and you won't talk to the cops. That's not true. That cop pulled. I didn't go to jail that night, but I had a gun pulled on me. It was a whoops, just a whoops. I guess that's kind of the best way I can put it. We need better people doing the job. We need more training, or we need to like spread out the workload to different organizations or this and that. And then we need to end the qualified immunity. You are gonna get tried on the same fucking laws as everybody else if you fuck up. There's no, well, he was just doing his job and he got scared, or well, that wouldn't happen if we had nice quality people doing that job. It's just the way that I see it, I guess. And like, you can't be like, well, there's just a couple bad apples, and some jobs you can't have bad apples in. Like, it's just not the way it works. Like, you can't have a bad pilot. You like, I mean that's a really relevant one. I think it's a Chris Rock joke or some shit like that. But yeah, you can't have a bad pilot. Like, we just got a couple ones that fucking crashed the plane. Whoopsie daisies, and what are you gonna do? Keep those people around. Like, it's just, you need to be professional. Like, it seems pretty fucking simple, but apparently it's not. So I don't know how to solve everything on that one, but I think if anything, more funding, better screening, better training. If you're a cop, you need to be a cop. Like, that's you. Like when a Navy SEAL's a Navy SEAL. He's not like Yep, that's just my side job. Just a Navy SEAL sometimes. It's just my day job. Just a Navy SEAL. They're fucking working out. They're like living on the fucking base. It's like a real thing that they're in. It's not. They don't get to go punch out at the end of the day after throwing people in jail. They don't go home. It's like, I guess the Navy SEALs aren't doing a whole lot of jailing. I mean, maybe a little bit, but not in a similar manner. but that's a different topic, kind of. Uh, yeah, it's just weird how they think it's like a business like reaction or interaction, because they do get to punch out at the end of the day. They throw some dude in the cement cell, and I don't know, 5 o'clock rolls around, they punch the thing, they go home. That's the dude had to go in the cell that day. Whoopsie daisies. I don't know. And some people might deserve to go in the cell, but there's too many laws that put people in the cell that haven't hurt anybody, and that's just totally fucked up in my opinion. Like, how can you have to do jail time over any crime that doesn't result in a hurt party? Any crime. Like, if there's no hurt party, there's no real crime. Like, maybe put a fine on it. They shouldn't be like, well, no, he broke the law this many times, so he needs to do 6 months. It says it right here on my piece of paper. And too many people are okay with that, and I think that's the lack of critical thinking at a giant scale. Like, it just got scaled up because people had to do those jobs who just, they're, in that this happens, so this has to happen mindset. There's no taking the situation individually. And I think almost every fucking situation needs to be handled in a different way. It can't be like, well, this kind of ends up in this category, and this is what we do to those people. And say, like, shit, you could do also like say someone robs a bank, right? They rob the bank, they get away with the $500. I think they only get like a average of $2,000 or some shit every bank robbery or whatever, but let's say this person doesn't hurt a single soul. Like, he's the most polite bank robber in the fucking world. Like, yeah, maybe you should get some jail time as a fucking bank robbery. Like, did you bring a gun? Like, is the gun real? Was there the capability of hurting anybody? Like, actually, like, did you intend to hurt anybody? I think that's the main thing. Was there an intent to hurt anybody? And if there wasn't an intent to hurt anybody, like, maybe we should just find the fuck out of this guy and figure out what the hell his deal is. Like, why is he out here robbing banks? Like, why is this the fucking Wild West? But then on the other end, someone shows up to rob the bank, and he fucking pistol whips someone walking in, and fucking slaps a mom and her kids, and fucking points the gun down someone's shit. Hand over the money. He's the meanest bank robber you ever met, or something like that. Maybe he doesn't kill anybody, but maybe he does. You would react to that situation different than the most polite bank robber ever. But, like, maybe on paper, they both get the same shit. So, and it's like, well, it's on paper, it says it right here. And it's like, well, that's not the way it should work. Each situation needs to be taken individually and thought through in relation to that situation. Not like, well, it's kind of like this, and this is what happens. Yeah, I don't think anyone should be spending any time in jail for any crime that doesn't result in a hurt party. That's where I'm at on that one. And it's just crazy that they can use so much. Like, if you don't do what they want, then they're gonna show up at your house and fucking kidnap you and throw you in the cell. Like, people can't do that. Like, even my buddy Jack owes me $5,000. I can't show up at fucking Jack's house and fucking do a citizen's arrest on his ass and go throw him in my garage until he pays up. Like, that doesn't work. That's no one would fucking let that through. But that's what we allow to happen, and we're like, nope, that's different. Is it different? Why is it different? Why is it different? That's the question I'm asking. I want some critical thinking out of people, basically. Like, I just want more thinking out there. That's my deal. I think if more people had open minds and took each situation as it is, we would be in a better spot. Uh, no, that, that was kind of lame, but I already did this last half of the rant like twice and a half, so not coming through with the same energy, and, and it's not like I was really getting better at it. But yeah, so I'm gonna end this with what I think. Uh, Maybe I'll just throw a news thing that I think is not getting enough attention towards the end of these or something like that. And I think this is a pretty big one, and I think it's being ignored because of the election. But we're probably about to be in an armed conflict with China over Taiwan because of China thinks that Taiwan belongs to them or whatever, and the Taiwanese secessionists need to be stopped. And they've been flying like nonstop and you can only fucking get this news if you like listen to the automated military news channels that like don't even get a fucking commentator. It's just a computer voice like reading shit, and like you have to skim through the bullshit headlines and like listen to the whole robot voice read the whole fucking thing because it's not getting any media coverage, and I think that's fucking nuts. But yeah, so China's been like flying nonstop recon over the whole Taiwan, and Taiwan's like publishing all this. India and Russia are kind of prepping their borders. I think India bought a bunch of airplanes and like military supplies from the U.S. to kind of strengthen their shit a little bit. The U.S. is sending like a carrier task force out there. I think they're sending like a wing of bombers and maybe a couple squadrons of F-35s, and then what was it? It was between 10 and 50,000 troops or something like that out to Taiwan to like reinforce it just in case shit kicks off. But it really kind of looks like shit might be about to kick off over there, and I just think it's really nuts how people are just not in the loop at all, and it'll become a big news story I bet after the election. But right now, you don't see anyone fucking talking about it. And I think that's just fucking crazy. How, like, a real news thing can be just completely undermined by my red team and my blue team. But I guess that's just kind of the times that we live in now. So yeah, all I want is more thinking out of everybody. And I don't think everyone is actually capable of it. But I think everyone's capable of improving themselves, and I want to think that most people can maybe learn some critical thinking skills or something like that, unless they actually have like a disease or a mental issue or something like me. So maybe everyone is capable who has a healthy mind, but who knows? I'm not a doctor. I just have way too much time to think about things, and that's kind of what ends up happening. But yeah, this was the first real episode of Miller's Soapbox, and if you actually listen to this whole thing, thanks. Like and subscribe. I'll try and put out one of these a week. Have a good one.